Good morning, beloveds. I have been watching the Olympics. It has been fun and amazing and awesome and, just great. And I hope that you are enjoying the Olympics as well. And we had the Today Show on, and they had the gymnasts, the ladies gymnasts, because they are back from Tokyo, and they were letting the audience ask them questions, and all of the gymnasts, or one of the questions was, and I don't know if it came from the audience or if it came from one of the news people, but the question was, you guys are sports role model, you're role models now. Who are your role models? And the entire crew all turned and pointed at Simone. And then she immediately launched into who her heroes are. And she started with Naomi Osaka, which I thought was amazing, and then listed several more. And then Hoda said, wait a minute. I want you to hear what your team just said. Who are your role models? And they all said Simone. And Hoda was like, you need to hear this. I'm not going to let this moment get away from you. To know that this young woman who stood up for herself and said, no, this is my mental health. This is my body. It's not working the way it should. And I'm not willing to risk myself in this moment, and what that's the reason why Naomi Osaka is her hero, is because Naomi Osaka said, I'm done with these press things. It's too much for my anxiety. And it's mental health. It's mental health, and I talk about mental health, and it's a cause that's very important to me, because I think that we need to we need to take care of ourselves, and we need to take care of our mental health, and we need to understand that the brain is an organ. And when we have mental health issues, it's an organ that is not working. Just because it's not, you can't point to the brain like you can well, you see what I'm wearing today. You can't pull it, and I don't, if you pull this and I scream, then that I'm hurt. That this is not working the way it should. Well, the brain's a little tricky. We don't understand it enough. And so mental health is very important. And it's not a moral failing, and it's not a spiritual failing. It is an organ failing. It is the brain not working the way it should. And there are things that you can do. And among the things that I do is prayer and meditation. So those are things that I do. But I also am aware of my diet, and I exercise, because exercise is actually really good for the brain. And I did take a medication for 2 years. And I don't, fortunately, I just needed to realign my hormones, and I do not need the well, I can't even say fortunately, because, if it's like these, I can't see without them. So, the medication's the same. If you need the medication, take the medication. I needed the medication for a short period of time. But there are things that I do, like I take fish oil, because that's one of the things that I noticed, is that the fish oil made the medication work better. And then I've used the fish oil to maintain it now that I no longer take the medication. And I will be honest with you, there were 2 reasons why I got off the medication. And it's not because it didn't work. It did work. It worked very well. But one of the side effects that I had was I slept too much. And so that was a little hard. But the main reason I got off the medication was because my insurance company wouldn't pay for it anymore. They decided that after 2 years, it was experimental, and they didn't want to pay for it. They wanted to switch me to another medication, and I'm like, this one's working. No. And that's where the fortunately comes into, because my insurance company wasn't willing to pay for the medication that was working. I was fortunate in that the medication had worked to the point that I could manage it with diet, lifestyle, and so I didn't have to be on the medication anymore. Now, had I still needed the medication, we would have fought the insurance company. So mental health is very important, and I applaud Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka, and Michael Phelps is another one who has stepped up and said, these are things that we struggle with. These are things that we struggle with. And it doesn't make us bad, and it doesn't make us wrong, and it doesn't make us morally or spiritually or, weak. No. It means that a part of my body does not work the way everybody else's does. And I need to do these things to make sure that I stay safe and that the people around me stay safe. Okay? Mental health is a real thing, and it is very important. And there are a number of ways to go at it, and that's one of the reasons why I talk about it. I talk about my experiences because I want to take the stigma off of it. All right. So that was what was on my mind this morning. And now we're going to do this. And the title is, I am divinely optimistic. But the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape, and their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost. It's from Job. It's Job 11:23. So, August 5th, I am divinely optimistic. Let's see what Ernest and Raymond have to say. Good is even more possible than evil, for it is God, while evil is only a temporary false appearance. The hopeful have always managed to lift the world a bit and to bless their fellow man. With their eyes upon the good, they have walked forward on a pathway of blessings. I now join with all who have placed God at the center of their lives and who know that truth alone is real. I clasp hands with the men and women who have proven the power and the presence of God. Before me lies an eternal possibility which awaits my exploration. It bids me to come to its gates and enter in to partake of its immeasurable good. Even though my world tells me that much is impossible, I still declare my possibility in God. I know that nothing can be withheld from me if my consciousness is clear and positive. The good I seek is seeking me. The pathway I walk is always forward. If any man cannot walk forward with me, then I release him with a blessing, but I press on to my good. My footsteps are not deterred by people, places, or situations. God walks by means of me, and to his forward action there is no impediment. My future is dependent upon my conscious awareness of infinite mind. The fears of the world and of the people who have not yet awakened to the truth have no power over me. I alone determine what next year shall bring. As I am established in good, each year shall improve my consciousness and bring greater joy to me. Nothing can prevent my progress, for God is with me, and the power of God acts through me with wisdom. I am divinely optimistic. Okay, so there are a couple of things in here that just jump right out at me. One being, I now join with all who have placed God at the center of their lives and know the truth, that truth alone is real. And the cool thing about that is you can replace God with any name that anybody uses for God. You can use good, you can use spirit, you can use Atman, you can use, Buddha's not God. I'm trying to think of the word that they use for God. And I don't know. Okay, point being, whatever the Buddhist word is for God. Because Buddha is not God. Buddha is, think of him along the lines of Jesus. He's a teacher. He's a teacher that points the way to God. So I now join with all of those who have placed God at the set. And honestly, I can say that about atheists because, atheists aren't using the word God, but a lot of the atheists that I know have put good at the center. I'll join hands with that. I will absolutely join hands with that. So, and then I know that nothing can be withheld from me if my consciousness is clear and positive. The good I seek is seeking me. So I'm not going to let anything get in my way because I know who walks with me. And more to the point, I know who walks as me. All right? We are beloved children of God. We are made of God stuff. We are made by God of God stuff. That means that anything is possible. Anything is possible. And that's kind of what the Olympics are. It's like anything's possible. These athletes had these dreams and they didn't let anything stand in their way. And it's been interesting to watch the stories. They were doing a story about this diver who his father adopted him from Cambodia. And just, learning a little bit about him and his father, because his dad wanted to be a dad so much, but he was a gay man. And he said, all right, I want to be a dad, and this is how I'm going to do it. And he raised an Olympic diver, and together they've had this incredible life. They've published children's books, and what they've faced, because they're truly making the world a better place. So they didn't let anything get in their way because they knew who they were. They knew who they were. All right. So the title is I'm Divinely Optimistic. And the truth is I am Pollyanna Sunshine. I am. Every now and again I have those moments. And then I get over them. But that's what spiritual practice is for. That is what spiritual practice is for. It's because every now and again the world is going to get in your way, and spiritual practice helps you to remember that the material world is not where it's at. It's the truth behind the material world. And because there is a truth behind the material world, then anything in the material world can be adjusted. I won't even say fixed, because it doesn't always need to be fixed, but sometimes it needs to be adjusted. Now, sometimes it needs to be fixed, but sometimes it just needs to be adjusted. And because of who we are, and because of where we come from, and because of the work that we do, it's possible. So, I am divinely optimistic. Honestly, I don't know about the Bible quote, but the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape, and their hopes shall be as the giving up of the ghost. Okay, it's Job. Have you read the book of Job? It's 11:20 Job. Now, if you don't know the story of Job, Job had a whole lot of bad things happen. And he never took his eyes off God. He never took his eyes off God. Even though his neighbors kept coming to him and going, really? Honestly? You should blame God. God is... And Job said, no. I'm going to keep my eyes on the good. I'm going to keep my eyes on the good. So go read the book of Job. It's interesting. Good is even more possible than evil. For it is God, while evil is a temporary false appearance. Evil is the misuse of the law. It is not a power in and of itself. It is the misuse of a law. It is the misuse of the law. Good and God are a thing. The hopeful have always managed to lift the world a bit and bless their fellow people. Watch the Olympics. With their eyes upon good, they have walked forward on a pathway of blessings. I now join with all who have placed God at the center of their lives and who know that the truth alone is real. Okay? Placed God at the center of their lives. I don't care what they call God. I don't care what name they use. What I care is that they have placed good at the center of their lives. So, and they walk on paths of blessings. You know them when you see them. And it doesn't mean that their lives aren't hard, and it doesn't mean that things don't go wrong. What it means is that when things do, they know where to turn. They know who to turn to. They know that there is a strength within them that will walk them through what it is. They know that they will get through. And that is the definition of optimism. It doesn't mean nothing's ever wrong. It just means that you have the strength and the power and the fortitude and the support to get through it. I clasp hands with the men and women who have proven the power and the presence of God. Before me lies the eternal possibility which awaits my exploration. Awaits my exploration. It bids me come to its gates and enter in to partake of its immeasurable good. Even though my world tells me that much is impossible, because the world loves to tell us it's not possible, I still declare my possibility in God. The world tells me that it's not possible, and God tells me that it is. And I believe it's Audrey Hepburn said that even in the word impossible, if you look, it says, I'm possible. Look at the word. Thank you, Audrey Hepburn. I know that nothing can be withheld from me if my consciousness is clear and positive. The good I seek is seeking me. The pathway I walk is always forward. If any person cannot walk forward with me, then I release them with a blessing. I would love everybody to grow with me. But if you have a different path to walk, I am going to release you and bless you on your way. All right? I am not going to hold you to my path, and I ask that you give me the same courtesy. Release me with a blessing. But I press on to my good. My footsteps are not deterred by people, places, or situations. God walks by means of me, and God walks by means of me, and God's forward action, there is no impediment. To God's forward action, there is no impediment. There's nothing that can get in the way of God. And when you remember that you are a child of God, then you know that there's nothing that can get in your way. In the end, you will win. My future is dependent upon my conscious awareness of infinite mind. The fears of the world and of people who have not yet awakened to the truth have no power over me. Don't let the fearmongers and the scaremongers get to you. They have no power over you, because you are working with the infinite mind. I alone determine what next year will bring. It is about arranging our consciousness so that we can determine how we are going to respond to what is happening around us. As I am established in good, each year shall improve my consciousness and bring greater joy to me. Nothing can prevent my progress, for God is with me, and the power of God acts through me with wisdom. I am divinely optimistic. So our mission today, should we choose to accept it, I'm going to give you the easy one today. Because being divinely optimistic all the time, yeah. Be optimistic. as much as you can. And when you have those moments that you need to just not, then just not. And then when you're ready, you go and you do your work and you go back to being divinely optimistic. You're allowed to have a moment. As I think Michael Phelps is the one that says it. It's okay to not be okay. All right. So when you have that moment, let it be a moment, and then get back up and do your work. Because if you try and muscle through it, the moment will last longer. I know this from experience. So have your moment. Have your moment. Let yourself be human for a moment, and then remember who you are. Remember that you are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. And get back up and go again. All right, so I promised you a mission, and I think that the mission, should we choose to accept it, is to join with all who have placed God at the center of their lives and who know that the truth alone is real. And those who cannot or choose not to grow with us, we release them with blessings on their path. Release them with blessings. That's really kind of, it's like I'm going to join with the people who see the good. I'm going to join with the people who see the good. So, as I always do, I also encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like today. Today for me, I got up and went for a run. That doesn't sound very kind, compassionate, and loving, but because it is part of how I manage my mental health, it really is. I know running is, you either love it or you hate it. So if running is not on your love list, then find something that does. I do encourage you to engage your mind and your body, and that's why. Because I understand, I've done enough research that there is a huge connection between engaging your mind and your body that goes a long way to supporting your mental health, which is why I say it every day. But I also talk about the kind, compassionate, and love, because you deserve your own kind, compassionate love. You do. If you practice on yourself, you'll have more to share with everyone else. So, please do that. And rest. I talk about engaging your mind in your body, but I am a big believer in naps too. All right, beloveds, I'm going to move into the process of my day. I'm going to encourage you to drink plenty of water. It's hot. So please drink plenty of water. Please take care of yourself. You are a beloved child of God. You really honestly are. I believe that to the core of my being, and I'm going to say it every day until you believe it to the core of your being. So, take care of yourself. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven now. You are God in action. He said that today. You are God in action, and nothing can get in the way of God's forward movement. All right? Nothing. Clear your consciousness and walk forth. Walk forth in power. Walk forth in optimism. Walk forth in love. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back on Facebook Live around 9 a.m. Do what you need to do to make it a wonderful, fantastic, amazing day. And honestly, if that's too much pressure, have a good day. Or just simply have a day. Because we're allowed to have days. But I hope that it's wonderful for you. All right, beloveds. And know that if you need to hear anything that I have said today or any other day in the past, year, all of these are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. And I'm no more than about 4 days behind. But I have a date tonight, so I'm not catching up tonight. I will catch up this weekend, though. All right, beloved. Do what you need to do to make it a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. All right?